Hey, it's Yoon Cannon, and you're listening to The 360 Entrepreneur with Jan Ilonga.
This is episode 161, and in this one we talk about attracting high-paying clients as a business coach. Here we go.
Welcome to the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast, the show for entrepreneurs and small business owners who dream big and want to do bigger. Join some of the world's top entrepreneurs, internet marketers, and best-selling authors as they share their inspiring stories, their struggles, and give actionable tips that will help you build, grow, and promote your online business. Here's your host, Yanni Lunga.
Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to this new episode that focuses on coaching. A few weeks ago, we had a coaching one-on-one session with Dr. Sharon Livingston, which was a perfect introduction to the world of coaching. She had some great advice that she shared. And so does today's guest expert, Yoon Cannon. She's a coach, a consultant, a speaker, an entrepreneur, and she's here to share valuable tips that are going to help you attract not any client, but high-paying clients as a business coach, which is really, really exciting. Today's show notes are over at yanilunga.com/episode 161. Okay, here is the interview with Yoon Cannon from ParamountBusinessCoach.com. Hey everybody, in this episode we are joined by a business growth expert, marketing consultant, and speaker. She helps entrepreneurs and solopreneurs create thriving 6, 7, and 8-figure businesses so they can have a bigger impact on the world and really enjoy greater freedom. She's been featured in places like CNN, Entrepreneur, Fortune, the Wall Street Journal, and she's here with us. I'm so excited to welcome on the show, Yoon Cannon. Hey, Yoon, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you, Jan?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. And I think that this conversation or this interview is the perfect example of the power of email, the power of reaching out, because that's how we connected, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a simple thing that, the good old send an email, reach out to people. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right, and is as easy as that. And thank you for reaching out. I definitely appreciate it, and I appreciate you being here with us. So let's dive right into it. So I said it. You're a business growth expert, and you really help entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you do and what we can find on your site, ParamountBusinessCoach.com?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a business growth coach, as you mentioned, and I help entrepreneurs who are in startup mode, and I also help entrepreneurs who have been established for even 20, 30 years. And so everybody wants to grow their business. So where I help people is to be able to attract more clients, increase sales, and even more important is to be able to increase your quality of life. To be able to have that work-life balance. And I think that's really key, to growing a thriving business and a life that you love. And that's really what drives me.
Love it. Yeah. And you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, we have one life. So it's important also not only to enjoy our entrepreneurial journey, but also enjoying our life more at 360 degrees. And I'm curious, Yoon, you on your site, there was something that I really circled down when I was preparing some questions for this conversation, because you talk about the wow factor and how we can nail it to attract high-paying customers. So can you tell us what that is and really how we can attract high-paying customers through that wow factor?
Yeah, that's a really key piece that helps make marketing so much easier. So whatever you're doing to market your business or advertise your business, you've got to keep in mind that your target market is going to get information and other marketing from other people who do exactly what you do. So, it's really not enough just to be able to promote or market yourself as, hey, I'm a relationship coach, or hey, I'm an elder law attorney. Or hey, I'm a blogger, so that's not enough, because they're going to see that same message 97 other times throughout the week. And so your wow factor is what makes you unique. It's your unique value proposition.
Mm-hmm.
Your wow factor is what connects and resonates, not with everyone, but your ideal type A target market. That's
Mm-hmm.
who it resonates with. And it's the things that matter to them. And so this is key, to be able
Right.
to zero in and figure out what that is for you, because otherwise you're going to have to work so much harder in your marketing, and you're going to have to spend so much more money on your advertising to continue to do that, repetitive exposure, when people really didn't get why they should call you, uh,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the other 97 people who do what you do. And that's important. So we all, as entrepreneurs and small business owners, need to get real clear on what makes you unique.
Okay, that's pretty interesting, Yoon, and I think is definitely nailing the wow factor is definitely something that is easier for people who have already been in business for some time. They have had quite many interactions with prospects, with customers. But what about those who are joining us, Yoon, and they're maybe about to get started? So, what are some of the things they should think about so that they can really create this incredible wow factor that attracts people like a magnet?
Yeah, you want to think about, if you're just getting started, and I realize it might feel a lot more difficult to do that when you don't have an established business with customers who are telling you, giving you their feedback, what made it a wow experience for them. So when you're starting from scratch, and I've had to do this 4 times, by the way, start from scratch. So I totally get, what that process is. And when I say that, I started, 3 other businesses, and that they were all from ground zero. So anyway, what you want to do is you want to look at your background. You want to be able to leverage your unique experience, your skill set, the abilities that come naturally to you. And this is the area where I find, Jan, a lot of folks actually, take much of their talent for granted,
Hmm.
and because it comes easy to you, because you've been doing something for a long time, you may not realize that it's actually not a skill or an expertise that everybody has, and so it's a process that's important to be able to include and get feedback from people who know you, people who know you in your professional work. Even working with, just even calling or offering a few people the opportunity to experience your services, people who have the problem. You can't just grab a random person. But so let's say, we got to put this as an example. So just picking something out of the air. Let's say you were a gymnastics coach for 25 years,
Hmm.
and that's your expertise. That's all you've ever done. And you want to go into the online marketing world, and you want to start, selling training DVDs on coaching, young gymnasts as well as their parents. So you want to be able to get feedback from the people who've worked with you in the past in that realm,
Hmm.
and ask them, what is it about working with you that they found made the biggest difference. No, so that's one thing you want to do, right? The second
Hmm.
thing you want to do is you want to list out your own pet peeves. When you evaluate other programs out there of what you are trying to create. So in this case, if you're trying to create an online training program like DVDs or maybe an online coaching program, so go check out what's already available. Okay, I actually did this to help another client who was doing something similar, but more for soccer, right? So
Hmm.
so we took a look at other sites, other online solutions around the soccer world, and then they had to really just nitpick at it and say, okay, well, what would they do better? What would they do differently? And so that is that can help start your list, your brainstorming list of what your wow factor is. So you got to keep in mind, coming up with your wow factor is a process. You're not looking for the immediate answer right away. It's a process. So you want to have a pad of paper to really brainstorm, and you go back to it. So one perspective, like I said, is asking past people who've worked with you. The second perspective is for you to go through and evaluate how other people are doing it and what you would do differently. And you know what? Here's an example. All right, that soccer example, we went through the videos, right, of what was going on that site. And I just walked that person through, and I said, well, what do you think? How are you going to make your product different? And in that process, we were just trying to figure out their differentiation, right? In that process, he actually picked up, he watched their videos, and he said, even though the videos looked like they were professionally done of demonstrating different soccer techniques and moves and so forth, even though they looked like they were professionally done, he could pick up the technique was all wrong, in that video. And this was a, competitive company. And so from that, he started getting tons of ideas of how he could articulate, his difference and his expertise, to be able to communicate the value of his ability to diagnose as well, and not just do what everybody else is, putting out there on YouTube, let's say. All right. So we just talked about that. Second thing was your pet peeves. The third area I'd say for, trying to think about your wow factor would be, think about how you can be the first or the only one in your category. Okay. And it doesn't have to be, at least if you're the first or the only one that you can find, or other people can find. And so that's another category that can help you to really craft your wow factor. Okay. So it could be just from your personal training or background, your skill set. It could also be you're the first or only business in your category who offers the service, who delivers a service in the way that it's delivered, you see.
Yeah.
So it can go both, you can go either way. You just want to start brain dumping, different ideas based on what you've got to work with. So this exercise is it's really a lot easier for me to walk people through if I had, a specific scenario. But just using, sports in our previous example, you have to kind of apply that to whatever business, the listeners are that you have.
I think you made it very clear. And as I was listening to you, there is a quote, I believe is by Derek Sivers, and is so true. And it ties into what you just told us, that what is ordinary to you, or what may be ordinary to you, is extraordinary to other people. And that's very true, because especially when starting out, we feel like, well, we don't have much to offer. We don't have any particular skill that people could be interested in. But you told us we can reach out to people maybe we have worked with and try to get an honest feedback. Obviously, we don't want them to sugarcoat anything. We want the truth. We want them to be objective. And then you said it, we can also do some research and look at how people in the industry we're in or we're about to get in are doing certain things. And then by looking at the content or the trainings or whatever the case may be, we're going to start to make some comments on that content. So by those comments and remarks, we're going to start to kind of shape our own way, our own product or our own business even. So I like that. And you also emphasize the importance to keeping in mind that coming up with the wow factor is really a process. So some people may be here with you and I, maybe they have pen and paper, they're starting with their list, but you said it takes some time. And on your site, Yoon, there is a platform you talked about that can really be leveraged for attracting clients. And nowadays, the social media world is really noisy. Almost every month, there is a new social media platform launched, but there is one in particular that you talk about, and is LinkedIn. So we've talked about LinkedIn in the past on a couple of episodes. And like in every episode, guys, you're going to find the links to those episodes, to Yoon's website, paramountbusinesscoach.com, and everything else we mentioned in the show notes. So Yoon, how can we leverage LinkedIn to identify and attract high-paying customers?
Yeah, LinkedIn is an awesome platform, and I love using it. And the reason why I picked LinkedIn when I first got started online is because taking a look at the different social media platforms, one of the things I liked about it is, one, people are already in a business framework. You know, when people jump on LinkedIn, they're in work mode. It's not like Facebook where people are jumping on to just connect with people, and then your business message might, come across as sort of an interruption marketing, right? So I like that. And the second thing, people should really understand about LinkedIn is if you want to attract high paying customers, LinkedIn is the leading platform. It's got LinkedIn users have, amongst all the social media platforms, has the highest annual household income, right? And even more so, I think a lot of people don't even realize that 40% of LinkedIn users are millionaires.
Wow.
So, if you get frustrated having to talk with prospects who feel like they're just tire kickers and they're just price shopping and looking for a bargain and price cutting, you don't have to deal with any of that if you shift your audience to people who already have that mindset and appreciation for paying for quality, and so you're going to get that in the LinkedIn community. It is an affluent community. So if you want to attract high paying customers, that's where they are. Now, the second thing about LinkedIn is this is where you're going to find people who are targeted in groups. So what's tough about just random networking, if you go to a local event, let's say just your local small business event, you've got so many people who everyone from just a one person, selling makeup, to the banker, to the realtor. I mean, you've got such a mix, and they're not all going to be your market. And what's great with LinkedIn is that you've got these communities where they have, frequently they'll have 3,000 members. You'll find groups with 10,000 members, and they're all a part of your target market. So it's great to get involved in those groups, the group discussions, and really start getting known, in those groups for what you deliver. But I'll tell you what, before you go, hit the ground running and jump in a lot of these group conversations, I'm a big proponent on getting your ducks ready.
Right.
Before you do that, get your ducks in a row, as the expression is. And so what I mean by that is being having a well done profile really serves you well in saving you time later, and it also helps you get a higher response. So if somebody sees an interesting comment that you made in a group discussion, they're going to click on your profile. When they click on your profile, if they don't get what you do, and you'd be amazed how many people really don't get what you do. I hear this all the time. You might get what you do because you do that, but a lot of other people don't. So when they click on your profile, they really immediately have to get what you do, but also your wow factor, which we just talked about. So they might think, okay, so this person is, an attorney, but they're going to come across 97 other attorneys. They have to understand what your wow factor is from your LinkedIn profile, and something there to grab their attention and resonate, with them. So if you want to leverage LinkedIn to attract high paying customers, you want to take the time to learn how to position yourself. And I teach this in the programs that I offer, but this is important for you to understand as far as, how you're going to get the most bang out of your time, the most return out of your time on LinkedIn. So you're going to want to position your profile so you are the go-to expert. People get what you do, your wow factor, and who you help. That's really key. And I teach other things like, it's also important to have social proof, and LinkedIn profiles are set up really well for that. I think better than what websites can truly do. Because when people go to a website, and I teach both, by the way, I teach people how to get more clients on websites, and I teach people how to get more clients on LinkedIn. But now herein lies the difference. the one piece about social proof, people know that when you go on a website, you could have just come up with a random picture, a random quote to say whatever you'd like, so they do take that with a grain of salt. You could have tons of testimonials on your website, but like I said, they take it with a grain of salt. But with LinkedIn, when you have a recommendation or a testimonial, I should say, they can click on that person who wrote it and click on their profile, and they can see that it's a real person who works at a real company, and it adds so much more credibility. So the stronger your profile is with, these, I really stack it up there's 6 different components to your profile, the way that I teach it, right? So if you have a stronger profile with these 6 engines that are just, you got 5 stars all across, then your activity in the group discussions, as well as any updates that you're making that go out to your connections on LinkedIn, people, you just make that much stronger of a first impression and what you're known for.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you attract the high-paying clients who are looking for someone with your expertise. You're going to stick out amongst the 97 other people who do what you do on LinkedIn, even on LinkedIn.
Right. Yeah. No. Again, you're so on point, Yoon, and you said it's really important to get our profile, in this case of LinkedIn, ready to go before we start reaching out to people in different groups. We provide value so that once they see our comments, our content, they go and check our profile, and we have to make sure that we have our wow factor incorporated there. And you said it, we have to make sure that we have some social proof. We want to make it crystal clear, not only what we do, but really who we help. And speaking of helping you, I know that on your site, you have what you call a 4-minute guide that builds on some of the things we've talked about on how to attract high-paying customers. So I will link to your site as well. So if you are here with Yoon and I are interested in learning more, you can definitely grab the 4-minute guide. So Yoon, can you give the listeners a sort of preview on what they can expect from the guide?
Yeah, the guide, you're going to get a quick audio it's an audio lesson of me talking, right? And I'm talking you through this handout. So you get this handout. It's a worksheet to help you get real clear on who your target market is. And if you have a crystal clear understanding of who your ideal type A target market is and what their problems are, and what's at stake for them if they don't get that problem solved. You really want to get deep into the mindset of who they are, and that information is going to come out and speak much stronger to them when you're marketing, whether it's jumping off as far as copywriting is concerned. That's huge. If you're delivering marketing through audio or through live speaking, you want to use the language, that they're using. And you really do want to get deep into the mindset of what's happening for them. So this worksheet is really the first place you need to start. If you want to attract higher paying, lucrative clients, this is a worksheet to start with.
Great. Thank you for making that available. So again, make sure to check out the show notes where you find the links to everything Yoon and I have talked about. And also, Yoon, if people would like to maybe ask you questions or connect with you, what is the quickest way to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Well, my website is paramountbusinesscoach.com. ParamountBusinessCoach.com. And I have a page on my blog. It's just do /Ask Yoon. Ask Yoon, YOON, like Nancy. Ask Yoon. So on that page, you can post your question, any question you want, and I'll give you an answer.
Awesome.
so I'll help you out with whatever challenge that you're coming into. Because I've been at this for 24 years, so I get what you're going through, and there's not a lot of problems I haven't heard about.
Yeah, no, I bet. And I want to again say thank you for what you do, and thank you for being here and telling us more about what we can do to attract high-paying customers. And to wrap it up, do you have some final words of advice for the listeners?
Yeah, my word of advice would definitely be, do not attempt, to do everything alone.
Right.
You really need help, so whether it's help from hiring people, help as far as guidance, help as far as a peer group, even network of other entrepreneurs, I would recommend all the above. It's just going to take so much longer. And this is where I hate to see people giving up on great ideas. Usually it happens when you're doing this, you're trying to do this all alone. So my advice is definitely get help.
Love it. So make sure, again, to get help. And the first place you can get help is with Yoon's 4-minute guide. Yoon, thank you so much for being here and telling us more about the things we should think about and do to attract not only more clients, but more high-paying customers. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate being on your show.
And we are back. Yoon, thank you for being here and providing us with so many great tips that we can really implement, not only mindset, but practical things we can do to attract high-paying clients. And you heard it, there are a few resources available in the show notes at yanilunga.com/episode 161. And there you're also going to find the link to the Podcast Success Summit. I've talked about this over the last few weeks because the summit is here. It is on the way. It has officially started. So if you haven't yet, make sure to go to the show notes page where you find the link to the Podcast Success Summit. Go to the site, grab your free virtual ticket so that you can access the world's biggest digital conference about podcasting completely for free. This is it for today. Yanni Lunga here. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending some time with Yoon Cannon and I here on the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast. I really, really appreciate your support. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the 360 Entrepreneur Podcast. For more tips and tools, head over to www.yanilunga.com.